This beauty is Parnassia glauca, the grass of Parnassus, in its own family, the Parnassiaceae. As you might imagine by looking at the flower, it's not really a grass. And this one doesn't grow on Parnassus, which is a mountain in Greece above the Oracle of Delphi, although it's likely that one of its cousins, Parnassia palustris, grew and still grows on higher elevations in that mountain. Grass of Parnassus is a native plant. It is native to the northeastern parts of North America. It is a C of 10, which means you only find it in the Chicago region in the most high quality ecosystems. And these ecosystems are generally marly wetlands. Marly, M-A-R-L-E-Y, meaning mud-like soil with calcium carbonate. It flowers from August 12th through October 9th. And if you want to know where to find it, I'll let you know. You can ask me. You can see that the grass of Parnassus has 5 petals, and these petals really stand out. They're different from other petals. The 5 petals are not united in any way. They're free from each other. There are also 5 sepals that you cannot see in this particular photograph. But what's most characteristic about these petals are these veins, these nectar guides, lines that guide your eye into the center of the flower and also guide the eyes of pollinating insects into the center of the flower. With their ultraviolet eyesight, these lines look like lights along a runway at an airport to the insects, and they home in on these and head towards the center of the flower. Then you might ask, what on earth is in the center of the flower? There are 20 different structures surrounding the ovary. 5 of those structures are stamens, and you can see the arrow pointing to 2 of the 5 stamens. The anthers have already shed their pollen, so you can't really see much of the anthers, just the filaments, the whitened filaments are left. But in between every pair of stamens, there is this 3-pronged structure that's topped with glistening golden globes. Glistening golden globes. These are called staminodes. And these staminodes are derived from the same tissue as the stamen. They are not functional, they do not function like stamens because they do not produce pollen, but they do produce something that looks like glistening nectar, which attracts the insects. In fact, there is no nectar in these glistening golden globes, but there is copious nectar at the base of the entire staminal column. Or staminal circle, I should say. As you look at the whorl, the staminal whorl, you can see that there are actually 20 different objects. There are 5 true stamens, and then there are 5 staminodes, each with 3 separate prongs to them. So each 3-pronged staminode is a separate organ, and there are 5 times 3 staminodes is 15, actually 5 staminodes with 15 prongs and 5 stamens. So the flowers of Parnassia and the members of the Parnassiaceae are extremely distinct and hard to confuse with anything else. Another characteristic of Parnassia glauca, and I'm using Parnassia palustris that I mentioned at the beginning of this chat as an example here, is that it only has basal leaves. The basal leaves come out of the ground. There are no leaves along the stem. In fact, each plant has 1 stem, and each stem as one flower. Parnassia palustris, this is a photograph that I took in Iceland. In fact, I took this at a place called Geyser, and there was in fact a geyser there. And that's where the name geyser comes from. It comes from the Icelandic. Interestingly enough, with Parnassia palustris, you can see that those staminodes that we talked about with Parnassia glauca, where there's 3 prongs each, in Parnassia palustris, there's 7, 8, 9, 10 prongs in each one of these staminodes. Parnassia palustris is a plant of the far north. You can find it in northern Michigan, northern Wisconsin, but does not come down to the Chicago region. And the other thing you can see here is if you look carefully at the stamens, you can see 5 stamens. 3 of them are still tipped with anthers containing pollen, and 2 of them have lost their anthers. And another characteristic of this particular family and genus and species is that the stamens unfurl themselves one at a time. And so there's never a time when you're taking a photograph of this flower that you see all 5 stamens with all 5 anthers still attached to them. They come out in a series. There is a website I'd like you to visit. It is called the Biota of North America Project, bonap.org. And in that website, you can find range maps of all of the species that are native to North America. So as you can see here, Parnassia glauca, we're back to Parnassia glauca now, and not Parnassia palustris anymore. Parnassia glauca is native to the Chicago region. It is also native to the north and northwest, and then off to the east. There are some populations to the south of us, but it's actually far more common as you go north. Thank you for your attention to Parnassia glauca, one of the most beautiful of our native wildflowers.